Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons of Ritual. And I have the Crimson Cadaveress who is floating around. She's falling in. She's coming in. She's coming in.
Hello.
Hello. Helen and I are here to talk about the week of 8/14 to 8/20. So we're coming up on the end of Leo season.
Yes, I feels like it just started, and here we are at the end.
I agree. And also, I said to you before we started recording, happy Venus Star Point Day.
Yes, yes, because as we're recording this, or earlier today, I think it was, the Sun and Venus formed a conjunction.
So and we were outside and it felt like the sun and Venus were forming a conjunction.
Yep, yep. It was definitely some amplified sun feelings for sure.
It's getting hot. Okay, so
Yeah,
unlike the constructs of space, it's very cold. It feels
yeah,
better. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with Monday,
yes,
the 14th. The moon will be in Cancer.
yep. Forming opposition with Pluto, conjunction with Juno, and squares with the North Node and South Node. So that's actually, what is that? That's a cardinal grand cross.
Yeah. I was going to say squaring the North Node and the South Node.
Yes. So of course
Okay.
those are always opposite from one another. But
So
yeah,
you
so like North Node's in Aries, South Node is in Libra, Moon in Cancer, Pluto in Capricorn. So that's all cardinal.
mm-hmm. So, which is interesting, right? Because we were talking about things getting started.
Yes.
This is a great way to start the week.
Exactly. And we're approaching that new moon on Wednesday, which is obviously about setting intentions, about beginning new things. And as we're preparing for that, we're spending time kind of releasing things, surrendering things to make room for that. So with this cross, that's the perfect energy to kind of like stretch us out and go, all right, what do we really need? How can we simplify? What can we do to like kind of clear out so we can start anew?
Right. And it's this idea, like you said, of surrendering, right? Getting stretched out. Because, when we go to the new moon, I always tell people to rest.
Yes.
Um, and so now that you are letting things go, by the time you get to that new moon, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're already in the energy of this new moon.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Um, so Venus in Leo will be trining Chiron and Aries on the same day.
Yes. And if we're surrendering to things, we're definitely surrendering to like, old, heartbreak, pain, wounds that we have from before, like surrendering to them and like recognizing how, they've actually kind of built our character. They've
Mm-hmm.
kind of, made us who we are and like almost like kind of finding the worth in them.
Mm-hmm. And also, like you said, seeing how it's finding like how it's built our character and made us, I want to say almost realize like how none of that stuff is like important to bring forward.
Yeah,
Like if
exactly.
this was really chapping your ass when you're 20 and now you're 40s, you need to figure out a way to like deal with this now. Like
Yeah,
this is that initiation of really starting to take the reins for your life.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And definitely, especially with Venus and Leo,
Mm-hmm.
retrograde right now is like kind of reflecting upon these things and going, courageously fighting for what we really believe in. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we gotta let go of that stuff that like it upset us, it hurt us. It's like, all right, well then why are we clinging to it? Like just
Right.
let it
Why
go.
are we right? Why are we clinging to it?
Yes.
Um, okay. Because yeah, Chiron and Aries. Chiron was the wounded healer,
Yes.
right? But now we see him as the great teacher. We see him as healing.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, like, especially with that trine with Venus, she's like kind of helping with the healing, helping with the nurturing with that divine feminine energy. So it's kind of just, it's making it a lot easier for us to like see the worth in what
Mhm.
we've gone through.
And I think that fits into this idea too with Neptune squaring the galactic center,
Yes, I
right?
think that's really interesting on that
Yeah.
same day.
So to me, what this says with signals, when these squares come up, they can be challenging, sometimes emotional. It makes me think through things. And so the Neptune squaring that galactic center is asking me, am I moving forward?
Right.
You know, am I spiritually moving forward? Am I allowing myself to move forward?
Right.
In those places that still kind of break up and I think, oh no, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's what I need to work on, or that's what I need to surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I like that you bring up surrender because I think, again, squares are challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It's like challenging us to surrender to those things that, like, we may not be able to, put it into a box or explain it all completely, but it's things we feel, it's things we're going through, and we have to, like, kind of almost like dissolve into it and just feel our way through it.
Yeah, and I think too, like we have to come into this new idea and new way of seeing surrendering, right? Like it's not this idea of being weak. Like if you think of it as like arm wrestling and then there's got to be like a winner and a loser, right? But if you see it as like surrendering, it's almost like if you're seeing something eye to eye and you surrender, so like you just let it go. You come up behind it, you see a different way, it's got to come out of this idea of just like a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like you surrender to sleep in order to rest and become a better person. So it's
Hmm.
got to come out of this idea of just like a fight or a struggle.
Yeah, it's almost like a Four of Swords energy where it's just
Mhm.
like kind of like, lay there and rest and quit trying to fight all these things in your mind and all these, things that you think you have to fight.
Right. I always say like a lot of fake scenarios.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing with fake scenarios is that you can just come up with another fake scenario. So maybe you just don't fight them. You just let it
Yeah.
go. Okay, Tuesday, my friend, the moon will move into Leo. Or the moon
Yes.
will, yeah, the moon is in Leo.
Yes. So late Monday, moon moves into Leo and then starts off Tuesday, moon in Leo still.
Yeah.
Kind of setting the scene for the Wednesday new moon. But
Okay.
we've got some interesting things kind of going on that day that I personally think are kind of like amplifying the energy we're going into with this new moon. So if we
Mm-hmm.
think about Tuesday as like the absolute final day of like the lunar cycle we're in currently,
Mm-hmm.
again, this is a day to like really clean out, really just kind of like rest, reflect, hold space for ourselves, which is perfect because the moon's in Leo. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yes, I can make space for myself. I have the courage to do that. Juno enters Leo, which is like, committing to yourself, committing to like,
Mm-hmm.
taking the journey that you feel like is right and true to you.
Yeah.
And then the square to Jupiter is like challenging us to go bigger,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, don't just, don't keep playing small. And again, we've got that Leo energy playing off of that. It's like, don't just keep playing small, like shine authentically, shine truly, shine big.
And what's interesting is Jupiter rules Sagittarius.
Yes.
Sagittarius is a fire sign.
Yes.
So that's a lot of fire. And it's in Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I feel like this is saying like, how do we find that perfect balance of our fire?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And also with the conjunction with Venus, the moon forms a conjunction with Venus on that same day, also in Leo. It is just like kind of locking in like, you know, what really truly makes our heart burn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is really like lighting our flame and keeping us going.
Yeah. And you guys, and that Jupiter is in Taurus, which is stabilizing. Venus rules Taurus, even though she's in Leo right now. Um, and so it is almost like this rebirth of who we are, quite honestly. And I know that sounds super dramatic, but I am picking this back on this new Venus that started the new 8-year cycle for the Venus star point. And so I do feel like this is like it's that burning. If it's burning away the old and bringing us into the new, because um that square Jupiter and Taurus, that's got to find that right flame in that
Yeah.
Taurus, yeah, is who we are. Monetarily, um I feel like I'm missing a big one about Taurus. Creatively, like I always see create a Taurus as being creative.
Creativity, yeah. And
Yeah,
just our ability to like create from the earth in like in a grounded way, in a stable way.
practical.
Yes, very
Yeah.
practical. But what I think is really interesting on that day, because we actually have, obviously we talk about the moon a lot in the show, but like we have a lot going on with the sun this week.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of starts, I mean, obviously we had the like sun conjunction with Venus today as we're
Mm-hmm.
recording this on Sunday. But Tuesday, we've got the sun forming a square with Uranus. So of course Uranus is also in Taurus, sun in Leo. That to me is like challenging us to do things from like a higher level, do things kind of differently and not just do it because this is the way everybody's done it before. This is, what I was told to do. Uranus wants us to awaken to a new way, a new path, and kind of quickly.
So, I mean, this is interesting because the sun is the masculine, is squaring Uranus, who's in Taurus. The moon, who's the feminine, who's in Leo, is squaring Jupiter and Taurus. So it's like a reset for our masculine and feminine sides. They're both squaring two planets that are in Taurus. Taurus is that fixed Earth.
Yeah.
Uranus is the future. Uranus is the rebellion.
Yes.
Uranus rules Aquarius. I think we're in the age of Aquarius.
Oh, definitely.
Jupiter rules Sag. Sag is a fire sign, but Jupiter's gift, luck, faith, expansion.
Yep.
And so it's it's a whole new way of seeing ourselves.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely is a great way to start the week off, kind of start the new moon cycle off, because I kind of think that's about what this new moon is about seeing ourselves differently, but in an authentic light, not the way that anyone else has like told us to be. Just this is who I really am. I have the courage to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm skipping ahead to Wednesday, but I'm like
Okay.
talking about the new moon.
Mm-hmm.
Because the new moon occurs like early in the morning when the moon and the sun form a conjunction in Leo.
Mm-hmm.
And then not long afterwards, the moon forms a conjunction with the Lilith, which
Our
I feel like
fave.
again, she's the liberator. She's
Mhm.
keeping us, from being in like those old stale paradigms that were like somebody else's construct. She's like, nope, you got to be yourself. It's time.
It's time. Everyone's got to start taking accountability.
Yes.
Accountability for themselves. No one's I was gonna make a joke about ass, grass, or cash, you know?
Something like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to pay your way.
Yeah. How can you tell I'm from Alabama?
Right.
I know that bumper sticker. Okay.
What I think is really interesting though about this new moon is square with Uranus. So day before sun squares with Uranus. Um, and then the moon squares with Uranus. Again, it's like saying like it's time for us to feel our way through differently. Like do
Right.
this differently, come up with a different way that like speaks to like the direction we want to move in versus just what we're like, oh, this is the old tired thing that I keep doing.
And I always see Uranus now as the tower card.
Yeah,
I see it as
right.
lightning. I see it as things falling, you guys. So to me, I mean, I feel this energy is being super beautiful, which usually means everyone has a meltdown and a hard time. And they're always like, God damn it, Jamie, you told me it's going to be very beautiful. And I'm like, in my heart, it's so beautiful.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't think so with this one. It's the Leo new moon. And I think what's interesting, I was actually thinking about this and I'm glad I remembered to mention it. The thing I was thinking about with the Cancer new moon and the Leo new moon, obviously they come, back to back.
Hmm.
I think they're really interesting because they give us an opportunity to kind of come back home to ourselves and reset
Uh-huh.
because moon is at home in Cancer, sun is at home in Leo. So
Hmm.
like they're kind of like going through this journey together, one new moon and then the next, where they're in each other's, home signs, they feel comfy and like we're coming back home to ourselves and like we really have a chance with the new moon to like reset, to be like, I'm gonna say, and do things differently.
Because I always think when things square with Uranus, I mean, that's the new story. That's why
Yeah.
I read Mars as a divine masculine now, because him and Aries squared Uranus for a long time there, like I think in 2019 and 2020. First Mars got it, and then Uranus, and then Aries got it, and then they both got it together while Mars was in Aries. So
Yes.
so this Uranus energy, it is the disruption, it is the rebellion, it is the 180-degree turn, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh, and the fact that it hits It's the moon first and then the sun.
Yes. Sun, then the moon. Yeah.
Sorry, sun, then the moon. That's a lot, you guys. That's our masculine, feminine self that's saying, hey, we can show up. We can show up as one.
Well, and it's interesting that you mentioned Mars because if you notice, Mars is trining Uranus.
On the same day.
Yes. Which again, it's like giving us the power to do these things differently.
Right, to move forward, to move forward. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
You're
definitely like a really big like paradigm shift, but like the courage to actually see that paradigm shift through.
right. And the courage to say that this is where I am now.
Right.
I talked to a couple people this morning, and that was the thing. This is where you are now. Trust that. You have learned a lot of lessons. You have done a lot of soul work. This is where you are now. You can say those old stories are gone, and you can show up how you want to show up now.
Exactly.
So allow Uranus to zap all sorts of things that you no longer need.
Yeah, I definitely see this new moon as like getting us back to a place of authenticity and like just kind of almost like in a no nonsense way of like, okay, I'm done with all that. Time to move forward. I see the path. I see this new thing I can do.
Yeah, especially with like Lilith conjunct the sun and the moon.
Yeah, I think again, she's liberating us from all that shit that's just not ours. That like we
Yeah,
make things more complicated trying to like have all these obligations that like we don't want anyways. And it's
right.
like, let it go.
Yeah, hard pass. And then I see here too, the moon will be trining Eris in the North Node.
Yeah.
Eris is going to shake that tree. I always see it shaking that tree and things falling. It doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah. The necessary disruptions we need so we can move forward to what's really ours.
Yeah. So this is going to be a big moon on Wednesday, even though it's a quiet new moon.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be really beautiful. And I think it's going to be something that we're going to want to, claim that higher octave of things that, like, yeah, there might be some chaos and things because something might be leaving, but we got to sit there and go, okay, do we really need this? Do we
You can
really
also,
need to cling to this?
right. Also, you can say that's not my chaos. That's their chaos. Yep.
Exactly.
You don't have to make it your chaos. Okay, then later in the day, the moon will move into Virgo. So let's resolve this, shall we?
Yes, which is great because the only thing that's really going on with the moon that day is an opposition with Saturn,
Okay.
which is perfect for helping to resolve things because it's
Yep.
like we're going to see those things where like maybe there might be some like faulty structures, maybe there might be some restrictions we hadn't noticed. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to see them and we're going to go, all right, let's just clear that away, let's move it away, let's restructure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the sun, because the same day the sun and Leo will conjunct Lilith. So
Yes.
thank you, Lilith, for coming in.
Oh yeah, and that's again, the sun is just so busy this week and like
That's such
the
that's
sun
such
is
Leo energy, Helen.
what's that?
It's such Leo energy.
It is, and I love it because it's like all these planets are in Leo. So it's
Right.
like, let's do it.
Wait,
But the
Helen's a
sun can,
Leo. Helen's a Leo, everyone. That's why I
yes,
made it.
exactly.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, my birthday's coming up too. So
Spoiler alert.
yeah,
Yeah.
spoiler alert. But first we have, Thursday the 17th, we've got that sun conjunct Lilith. And that I just think that again is liberating energy and just freeing us from anything that keeps us from being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything that's like making us like wear a mask, fit into a mold, like
Mm-hmm.
just make ourselves small, people please, whatever. Like we can let that go and we can just be ourselves.
Yeah, and like you said, also like that idea of like removing our masks, like that moon in Virgo, right? Up Saturn and Pisces. Like if we thought we had to wear these masks in order to fit in and be small,
Yeah.
then we can resolve that. No, this is who I am. That actually didn't get me anywhere. Staying small got me nowhere except angrier
Mhm.
and, all those things. So, yeah, Thursday seems like a really good day.
Yeah, it's actually a really pragmatic energy, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The 18th, Friday, moon in Virgo all day.
Yes.
Okay. Still resolving.
Yes, still resolving. And we've got a lot of help with that resolution because we've got the harmonious trine with Jupiter and Uranus. So we're
Finally.
like seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
We're making the changes. and then we have conjunction with Mercury, Pallas Athena, and Mars. Like we have the power, we have the like stable mind, we've got the strategy, like what we, whatever we need to do to like stabilize things and move forward, we basically got it.
And let me tell you, as we talk about this week, I can really feel like my solar plexus lighting up.
You know what's funny? I actually watched, I'll send you this video. I actually watched
Okay.
something about a solar plexus thing today.
Mm.
And I watched some other like tarot card thing that like basically suggested a gemstone that like kind of has to do with the solar plexus. And I ended up buying it, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. But
Okay, good. And you, because
all the solar plexus stuff too.
well, the sun, in our chakra system, the sun is yellow, right? And the sun motivates us, but the sun represents our solar plexus. And that solar
Yes.
plexus is our motivation, but it's also our self-esteem. So I really
Yes.
feel like this whole week is all about resetting the self-esteem.
Yes. And that's interesting that you say that because like the sun is really active astrologically,
Hmm.
but the sun is also just really active physically right now.
Hmm.
We're approaching solar maximum, which is basically like the peak of solar activity, I believe. And apparently, scientists think we're going to reach it sooner rather than later.
Yes.
And we keep having all these solar storms and all these like aurora, and things like that. And it's like, you know, especially when we have a week where the sun is also active astrologically, it's like, okay, we are clearly getting a call to shine, to
Yeah.
like be out there. Like it's almost just like an energy that's like, I don't know, it sounds crazy, but it's like popping off.
Does anything sound crazy what we talk about, friend? Come on
I
now. Come on now. And
well, same day we talk
yeah.
about the sun.
Mhm.
Sun is trining Eris.
In Eris, you guys, Eris is not the disruptor. What is Eris? Eris is the what's the word you
She's the goddess of discord,
discord.
so yes, which
Yeah.
I think she definitely does disrupt as well.
Yeah.
So
Well, I didn't want to say disrupted like to confuse them with Uranus. That's
oh yes,
it's the
yes,
same, but it is the same energy, quite honestly. Uh,
yes,
and I was going to say the moon in Virgo that day, like you said, trining with Jupiter and Uranus, right? So that's a good disruption, I guess, and Taurus, but making it bigger, but
yeah.
knowing like you can resolve this faster, you can resolve
Mhm.
this quicker. And then, like you said, conjunct Mercury, Pallas Athena, and Mars. But I want to touch on that square with Vesta, who's in Gemini.
Ooh, yes,
So when the moon in Virgo is squaring Vesta in Gemini, to me, that is us being able to see all the different options. Okay. It's just because all this fun energy, good energy is coming in there. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden it stops, but it means, okay, Vesta is our spiritual self, right? Our spiritual flame.
yes,
So you want to explore all those options that help coddle that help keep that flame bright
yeah,
instead of just going with, well, maybe we'll just do that because that's good enough, like whatever. But you're like, well, I want to go with this option because I really believe in it, I really love it, so how can I explore that more? Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely. Like, and it's like almost like challenging us to remember what actually lights us up, to what actually keeps us aflame and going, where it's like those are the things we need to focus on, not the stuff that we're like, whatever. Like
Right.
focus on the things that really get us fired up and passionate.
And things that might take 6 months, 8 months,
Yeah.
maybe a year, like, and I don't mean that like healing and health or money and all that stuff, but things that like it's okay for things to build.
Yes.
It's okay for things to build. So allow this. There's a lot of energy coming in here. It's hitting on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do another video about that, but let's keep moving, I guess. Okay, on Saturday, are you good with Friday?
Yeah. I think we can move on.
Okay, on Saturday, the moon in Virgo. Um, so it's still a lot of this moon in Virgo. It's got a lot of action from
Yeah, because
Thursday,
the way that
Friday.
it fell, like it happened where moved into Virgo late in the day on Wednesday, and then early in the day on Saturday moves into Libra. So it's like it ends up touching 4 days, but it's really only about like 3 days time.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I feel like as soon as we get through this Leo new moon, We're just trying to find like solutions to things.
Yeah, it's just gonna
All
start
right, I got all
resolving.
this excitement, but now I got to come in and like do the work, do something with it.
And one thing you can do is surrender the stuff. Keep surrendering. Let Virgo move this shit out. Or
Yeah,
and
exactly.
bring in good stuff too at the same time.
Right. And that's perfect because we've got a trine with Pluto on that day.
Mhm.
And that again is like bringing stuff up, but like transmuting it, transforming it, letting it go.
Yeah. The way that I'm reading this Pluto and Capricorn lately has really changed within like the last 48 hours, quite honestly. And especially with the way we see money and we work with money and the energy around money. And so
Yeah.
um and I'll probably touch on that, you guys, when I do my political video here coming up shortly. But it is to me it's all coming together. Um so Moon and Virgo trining that Pluto and Capricorn, and then opposite Neptune and Pisces, right?
Yeah.
So again, seeing that illusion.
Yeah. Like seeing the things that like maybe have left us like with the rose colored glasses, like taking them off and like being able to see the way things like letting reality be reality.
Yes, 100%. Okay, yeah. Because the Moon in Virgo will be sextiling Juno and Cancer. So then when you take those glasses off and you're like, ooh, but then you can see, well, where are my good relationships?
Yeah. Where do I really want to put my energy into? What should I really be committing myself to?
Yeah. So that's always good.
Yeah. And then we have the moon move into Libra, which is like just bringing justice and balance into the situation.
Yeah. Which then will get us out of although I do feel like, Virgo is practical.
Yeah. And I think we kind of need that after all the Leo energy, which is super fun, but it's kind of extra. So,
I was
we
gonna
got to
say, yeah, a little
kind of
fiery.
chill things down a little bit.
Okay, what day is your birthday?
Oh, we're talking about my birthday actually.
Yeah,
So, yes,
I knew, I, but you don't have it in the notes.
I
So
know. I guess I should have put it on there, but,
yeah, Helen's birthday. Okay.
figured it out. So,
All right, then Sunday the 20th, the moon
oh,
will, oh
oh,
wait,
I
go-
want to talk about one other thing
okay.
on the 19th. The sun again trining the north node. So that to me is just we've had all this build up for like a week, like the Venus and Sun conjunction, Sun, squaring Uranus, conjunct Lilith, trining Eris, like all these things that are shifting around, getting cleared up for us about our authenticity. And then the sun starts trining the north node, and it's like almost like shining a light down on like, okay, this is what you're really supposed to do. This is what you're like, almost like what you're born to do,
Yeah,
kind of is like laid out for you with that, like a shining light down on it.
that feels good. Like here you are.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's actually going to be like kind of like one of those moments where maybe we just kind of exhale and we
Mhm.
just go, oh, okay, that's so much simpler than I thought,
That's
and
what I was, that's what I was about to say. We exhale and we're just like, oh, actually, this is a lot easier. Mm,
yeah, I see that energy, especially coming in towards the back end of the week where it's like, yes, we've had a lot of buildup. Yes, we've got a lot of things changing and shifting and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's all kind of moving so we can just walk our true path.
Oh, I love that, Helen. I love that. Okay, Sunday.
Yes. So Sunday, I think is actually a really beautiful day. Um, that it's a lot of feminine energy actually, because we've got the moon in Libra, which
Hmm.
is Venus ruled, of course,
Yep.
forming a conjunction with Ceres, which of course is the great nurturer, very feminine mirth. I said mirth,
I,
Mother Earth,
I knew
mirth,
what you meant.
Mother Earth energy with, and then also a sextile with Venus. And, that opposition with Chiron, Chiron is the great healer. So there's like, definitely like a feminine energy with that as well.
Hmm.
So all of this is like us just figuring out how to like actually really just heal ourselves so we can move forward and get balanced and just be in like a good place and like a place of peace and almost like we're not rushing, we're not trying to like, fix ourselves, we're just trying to nurture ourselves.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And especially with this idea, be at peace.
Yes.
We can be
Because I
at
think we
peace.
can't be at peace if we're always trying to fix.
No, but we can also be at peace that a lot of these things that we've been working on are fixed. Or
Right. They like if we're putting the effort in, if we're living our lives intentionally, there's not really anything to fix.
right. We can just move forward within who we are.
Right. I can't remember who said it the other day, but somebody was talking about not being a work in progress, but being a success in progress.
And that's where I am.
Yeah. I like that.
I just had a client at one, and we basically just the cards were pulled and it was like, you did it.
Yeah.
And she was like, I kind of felt like, and I was like, yeah.
I mean, I really think that's the energy kind of where we're going right now, especially with all this sun energy. It's like, this is just, we're here. We're ourselves. We're doing it.
And I see this too. And we're starting this new 8-year journey, 4-year
Yes.
journey, right? And so we can bring all these successes, what we learned, and now we're showing up and this is where we're at. And it's
Mhm.
okay to be the babe in the woods again and be excited and to be hopeful and to be curious, right? It doesn't mean, and like to be innocent, to bring in this innocence. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that you're setting
Oh,
yourself
Leo
up.
loves that.
What
The
did you
Leo energy loves the innocence.
there you go, you know? Um, it doesn't mean you're setting yourself up to be fooled and all these things. Like we've moved out of that energy. Like we can see it. We're like, oh, that's a red flag.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, this seems like a really good week. Is there anything else you'd like to say about Sunday?
No, I think all of that is just a really good way to end the week.
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys, and Leo season, quite honestly.
Yep, yep. That's our last full week of Leo season. And I think it's just gonna end with a bang.
Is it awful that Katy Perry song in my head right now?
Fireworks song or something else.
Isn't there one about a lion and hearing her roar?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not well versed in like 21st century pop music.
That's
So I
why
don't know what to say.
well, when I said out loud, I was like, am I just putting fake lyrics to a beat or like to a song in my head?
I mean, that's all we're ever doing is we're just channeling, you know. It's
Okay.
really just coming from the collective.
So let's hear ourselves roar. I feel like it's I'm a lion, you're gonna hear myself roar. I feel like that's
Something like that.
okay.
I mean,
I'm
we
here.
got a lot of like really strong lion energy. We had, World Lion Day this week.
Yeah.
So that, we definitely have that roar energy. And I always say with lions, they never ask permission to roar. And it's like if there's something like you have to just let out there, something you got to do, like you don't have to, no one needs to tell you it's okay. Like this is just what you're doing.
Yeah, it's good, you guys, to get back into that savage part of yourself that's wild. Like
Yeah.
it is said that when the what was it like when the Buddha realized he was the Buddha, he roared like a lion.
Yes,
I'll get it.
exactly.
I'll make sure and I'll put it in the thing.
Yes.
So
And again, like we got to roar in whatever way is like authentic to us. And again, the sun keeps doing that, keeps reminding us of that all week that like we got to be true to ourselves. We got to be true to ourselves. We got to be true to ourselves. And that's the only way we're really going to be happy.
it's true. It's true. That's true. And if you guys want, I have solar plexus meditations on my channel. If you guys just go through the playlist, it says either chakras or meditations. It can be in both, right? Just look for a solar plexus meditation. If you don't like it, go to the other one, And if you don't like any of them, just find one on YouTube, you guys. So they're out there. They're for us. Okay, friend, you feel good?
I feel really good. I think this week's going to be fun.
Happy birthday week.
Well, thank you.
And we forgot to know we've been doing this now for a year. So I want to
Yeah,
thank
oh, yeah,
you.
yeah, we must celebrate. We're going to find a way of celebrating.
Yeah, thank you for being consistent with me in doing this. We did
Yeah,
it
I
for
don't
a
think
year.
we've missed a week, have we?
I don't think so.
Yeah, even if
So,
we've done it like a day late or something, but
yeah. So I
well,
appreciate you, Helen.
yes, for being consistent in a very inconsistent time.
Yes. And so, I asked you to do this and you agreed. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much.
Well, I appreciate you as well.
Okay. So you guys like and subscribe, all that bullshit, all those things, because we appreciate you too. We want this to be fun and we
Yeah,
want everyone
thanks
to see like we're constantly moving forward and healing and it doesn't have to be confusing or scary or you're not secretly doomed and all that other bullshit that we have been fed. So all lies. Okay, friends, until next time. Have a great week.